Budgeting doesn't have to be difficult or overwhelming. Follow these straightforward tips to start saving money right away. Figuring out how to budget may feel challenging at first, but it doesn't have to be. With these practical tips, you'll find saving for both short and long-term goals much simpler. These tips aren't just for those with extra cash. If you're working with a limited income, strategies like the 50-30-20 budget rule can make a big difference. Check out our top 5 proven budgeting tips to get started. This might seem simple, but the first step in building a budget is identifying your specific reasons for wanting to save money. Success in any goal starts with setting specific and challenging targets. Knowing what drives you to save will help you set clear, attainable goals. Keeping these goals in mind will keep you motivated, even when sticking to your budget gets tough. Before you create your budget, consider asking yourself these 3 questions. What truly matters to you? Is it traveling, buying a home, or saving for education? What's a goal that's both achievable and pushes you to do your best? Is your goal motivating enough to keep you committed, even when saving isn't easy? These questions can guide you in creating a budget that aligns with your priorities and encourages consistent progress. After you've identified your reasons for saving, the next step is to categorize your savings goals into short-term and long-term plans. This helps you create a clearer budget that aligns with your immediate needs and future aspirations. A short-term savings goal is something you aim to achieve within a relatively short time frame. Examples might include buying a new piece of furniture, going on a weekend getaway, making a down payment on a car, building an emergency fund. Long-term savings goals, on the other hand, take more time and planning. These can include saving for a deposit on a house or apartment, paying off long-term debt, starting your own business, planning a world trip, preparing for retirement. Balancing both short and long-term goals can make big ambitions feel more manageable. Achieving short-term targets can boost your confidence and show that saving is achievable, making larger goals seem more within reach. Before you create your budget, make sure that your short and long-term savings goals are practical. Setting goals that are unrealistic can lead to frustration when they become harder to reach. One great strategy for setting achievable goals is using psychologist Edwin Locke's SMART method. SMART stands for specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. If your savings goals fit each of these 5 criteria, they're realistic enough to build your budget around. To effectively create a budget, it's essential to know how much money is entering and leaving your account each month. The best way to do this is to track all of your income and expenses over a 30-day period. This means being aware of every single transaction and either noting it down in a spreadsheet or using a budgeting app such as You Need a Budget. After you have a clear picture of your monthly income and expenses, the next step is to categorize your spending into fixed and variable costs. Fixed expenses are regular, predictable payments, such as monthly rent or mortgage, utility bills, example, heating, electricity, insurance premiums, example, car, health, home, student loan payments. Variable expenses can fluctuate each month or even week and may include grocery bills, entertainment costs, example, dining out, movies, concerts, clothing purchases, dining out. Separating these 2 types of expenses helps you understand where you have control and where you may need to adjust your spending to meet your budget goals. Reducing your variable costs can significantly improve your budget, as these are the areas where you have more control. While your fixed expenses remain the same each month, cutting back on variable costs doesn't mean sacrificing enjoyment. It's about building habits that help you save more. Here are some personal budgeting tips to help reduce your variable expenses. Prepare meals at home instead of eating out during work breaks. Think twice before upgrading your phone if your current one is still working fine. Set aside 1 day a week where you don't spend anything on non-essential purchases. Try the save now, spend later strategy. Prioritize savings and fixed costs first, then use whatever remains for variable expenses. These small changes can add up, allowing you to save more without making drastic lifestyle changes. Now that you've figured out why you want to budget, what your savings goals are, and what your fixed and variable expenses look like, it's time to focus on how to save money each month. This will look different depending on your situation. You might be a freelancer with fluctuating income, a full-time worker with a regular paycheck, or someone managing a tight budget on a lower income. No matter your circumstances, we've gathered smart budgeting tips that can help you save money regardless of your income level. The 50-30-20 rule helps simplify budgeting by dividing your income into 3 categories. 50% goes toward needs, such as fixed costs like rent and bills. 30% is allocated for wants, which include variable costs like dining out, entertainment, or shopping. 20% should be saved or used to pay off debt. This method was developed by U.S. Senator Elizabeth Warren, a bankruptcy expert, to help people budget effectively, especially those with lower incomes. If you choose to follow the 50-30-20 approach, consider automating your expenses. This means setting up automatic transfers at the start of the month so that your income is divided according to the rule. By doing this, you'll only need to manage the 30% for wants, ensuring that you stay on track with your budget without overspending. The zero-based budgeting method differs from the 50-30-20 rule because it involves assigning every dollar, down to the cent, a specific purpose. At the end of the month, your total income should match your total expenses, leaving no extra money in your account. This method requires you to carefully track every expense, including fixed costs, variable spending, and savings. It's a detailed approach to budgeting, requiring close attention to each transaction as it happens, ensuring all of your income is allocated precisely. Life is unpredictable, and having a backup plan for your budget can help you stay on track when things don't go as planned. One of the best budgeting tips is to prepare for those moments when you can't stick strictly to your budget. This will help prevent you from getting discouraged and abandoning your financial goals. Here are some tips for creating a budgeting contingency plan. Include savings for an emergency fund in your budget. For example, try saving 5% of your monthly income to cover unexpected situations. Create a fallback budget to use in emergencies. This version eliminates non-essential spending, like variable costs, to free up money for urgent needs. In conclusion, budgeting doesn't have to be overwhelming. By setting clear goals, tracking your income and expenses, and using methods like the 50-30-20 rule or zero-based budgeting, you can create a manageable plan that works for your financial situation. Remember to account for both short and long-term goals, and always be prepared with a contingency plan for the unexpected. With consistency and discipline, you can achieve financial stability and reach your savings goals, no matter what life throws your way. Stay committed, and you'll see the results over time.